Thank you for tuning in to this Stardom live stream discussion on the 2024 Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix. This is typically one of the most highly anticipated tournaments of the year for Stardom. But tonight, our discussion is not so simple. Stardom has just delivered one of its most insane weeks of wrestling in recent memory, full of multiple turns, shocking moments, and disruptive results. Things are so crazy right now that I had to find someone just as crazy as I am to discuss the 5-Star GP at a time like this. So welcome everyone to the stream and welcome Meerkat Ultra, my guest. Meerkat, how is your day going so far?
Oh, hello. I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me for this fine occasion.
It is quite an occasion, and there are so many things to process, so many things going on in general. I'm still figuring out how I feel about everything, how to make sense of it all. So I think this stream will be kind of helpful for everybody. We are going to talk about this absolutely nuts week of Stardom Wrestling. There's a laundry list of things that they've done, and it is anything but predictable, anything but standard. But the topic is the 5-star. So to get us up to speed, we're going to talk about the past 5-star GP from 2023. We'll talk about this past week, and then we'll talk about the upcoming tournament for the year. So do you have any general thoughts about this tournament? I know that my preconceptions have just been shattered, so I'm sure it's no different for you.
Oh yes, it's a fun thrill of surprises. Stardom weekend. Basically, a lot of things happened that we'll get into. Basically shifted the 5-star a bit, but when you look at the participants in the tournament, I think there might be a couple clear narratives, and that's gonna be kind of interesting. Actually, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm even a little bit more excited going in this time because I think there's ample chance for, like, we'll get into Saya Kamatani, but I think there's ample chance for Saya Kamatani to like show some fun character work. I think I don't know. I'm interested. There's a lot of questions going forward, both good and bad, I would say. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of questions. We don't have the answers. We just have ideas. We just have our conjecture. So let's backtrack a little bit. We'll go to, once upon a time, 2023, the 5-star Grand Prix of 2023, which had its own set of circumstances that changed things. Going into this tournament, I felt like this was a highly, highly anticipated overall, just massive event for Stardom, who is having an amazing year. And if you just look at this lineup, it is truly stellar. There was only one problem. This lineup wasn't going to remain fully intact. And we had this amazing opening night, this amazing start to the tournament that had an unfortunate finale in which Tam Nakano of Cosmic Angels was facing Saya Kamitani, then of Queen's Quest, in the main event of night one. And Saya Kamitani was unfortunately badly injured in that match. The match could not be completed as intended, and Saya Kamitani was taken out of the tournament, which began the falling of multiple dominoes, the thing that I have called the injury apocalypse of 2023. Multiple wrestlers were pulled from not only the 5-star, but just regular performing. And we have to kind of just take into account the fact that some of the pieces were moved around, some improvisation had to happen. And in 2023, Suzu Suzuki ended up facing Micah, then of DDM. Wow, this is going to be hard to keep track of. And Suzu Suzuki won the 5-star Grand Prix tournament under the pretense that she would be challenging the red belt champion at the time, Tam Nakano. A lot of other things happened. More injuries changed all of that. But this tournament stands out, at least in my memory, as being one that leaves a lot of open questions about what could have been. And now this year has also taken a strange, drastic turn, but it is intentional this time, which is kind of wild. Meerkat, did you have any overall thoughts on how last year went? I know you covered quite a bit of it, and we all had to kind of deal with just the unfortunate injuries that took place and our feelings there. But
Yeah, last year was rough, basically. Not just on my end, just doing the content. It just got rough because of the injuries, basically, and just sort of deflated a lot of the feeling. And there's just a lot of shows as well, and it was just a lot basically to keep up with. Well, and it was really unfortunate. And that was just around the time that Stardom itself just started like I don't know. I just started like need to take a break from it. I started getting overloaded and just need to take a really long break, and it turned out to be a really really long break. But that's just how that happens. I just lost a little momentum there. I would say they definitely lost momentum for sure in regards to how it was going. It was kind of already dipping a little bit, but it's just unfortunate. I for sure thought Saya Kamatani was going to win that year. I was either her or Tommy. I was certain one of those two were going to do it, and then this just kept on getting thrown for a loop and a loop, and it's just hard to. On my end, it was just hard to just keep track of in terms of a narrative to go with and have fun with and meme with a bit and stuff. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So Suzu was a good winner, at least. I at least like that. I like Suzu Suzuki. It's unfortunate it kind of didn't really go anywhere, but I mean, Micah ended up as champion, which is great. But it's just I don't know. It kind of just went in a circle. I feel like I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It was rough.
it was really strange because there was speculation about Saya Kamitani being a front runner. She dropped out, obviously. Then everyone was like, okay, Utami's at least here. She's the backup. It makes sense. She dropped out. And then everyone just threw their hands up at that point. But I do think it's kind of interesting. The trajectory that Saya took last year and the trajectory that the GP took last year makes me think about this year because Saya had so much momentum. She was coming off of an iconic sort of a record-setting white belt run. She was telling amazing stories. She was involved in the generational struggle. She was involved in the steel cage match at Stardom Sunshine last year. Just highest of highs. Queen's Quest was super popular. They were very over. And then she got injured and the rest became a bit more tragic. And the GP followed a similar trajectory because she was center stage of that tournament. Now this year, Saya Kamitani, once again, tons of momentum. The Catch the Wave tournament. Just a number of things. She won the high speed championship. She changed her outfit. She became Red Saya. She was looking to become a leader. She has this setback with the Oedo Tai, and now she's the sole carrier of the banner of Queen's Quest. And perhaps she's going to formulate some kind of army or some kind of movement to try and return to greatness. And then this past week happened. So why don't we pivot over to that? We'll change topics a little bit because there is a lot to go over in terms of this past week in Stardom. So hopefully you guys have been paying attention. Otherwise, I promise this is not a joke. This is not some kind of prank. All of this crazy stuff has happened. I'm going to give you just a bit of a primer on the past 5 days or so. So a bit unprecedented, I would say. In the last week alone, we have had 5 title changes in Stardom. We have had 2 betrayals in Stardom. We have had the official naming or forming of 2 factions, and what seems to be also the dissolving of 2 factions, on top of the full announcement of the 5-star tournament competitors and the announcement that Natsuko Tora. By the way, heavy spoilers for everything going on in Stardom right now. Heavy spoilers. Natsuko Tora, the current red belt champion of Stardom, is dropping out of the 5-star GP tournament. So quick timeline. I'll try to run through this really quick. I know this is a lot. I agree. July 23rd, we saw Hanan pinned by her little sister Rina, and we saw Oedo Tai gaining control of the New Blood tag belts. Same night, July 23, Konami betrayed Shuri and joined Oedo Tai, and Oedo Tai gained control of the Goddess of Stardom tag belts. This past Saturday, July 27th, the forming or the official crowning or christening of Neo Genesis, which is the brand new faction in Stardom. They made their official debut, and they showcased new gear, they showcased their logo, new music, the whole 9 yards. Also, this past Saturday, July 27th, Natsupoi of Cosmic Angels defeated her longtime friend, fellow Cosmic Angels member, Saori Ano, and Natsupoi became the new Wonder of Stardom or white belt champion. And now we fast forward one day to July 28th. Firstly, Mei Sarah of Neo Genesis, the new faction, defeated Saya Kamitani, at that point the sole member of Queen's Quest, and Mei Sarah became the new high-speed champion. Same night, July 28th, Saya Kamitani, who had just lost her high-speed belt, betrays Maika in the main event and costs Maika the red belt title in that championship match against Natsuko Tora. Natsuko Tora defeats Maika, becomes the new World of Stardom or red belt champion, and Saya Kamitani seemingly joins Natsuko Tora and this whole other group of villains. And speaking of those groups, that group of villains, Natsuko Tora in the promo afterwards has declared, and I'm not entirely 100% clear on how this all works or what it all means, but she declared somewhat the end of Oedo Tai and the formulation of a new named faction that is being called Hate. And this seems to effectively be the end of not only the Oedo Tai faction, not only the end of the Queen's Quest faction, but it's almost like this strange Frankenstein's monster of a new villain team that is essentially the second form of Oedo Tai or something like that. That's about as good as I could do to try and summarize all of this. I'm still trying to make sense of it all, try and plot where things are going. But if we can we get a sense of your reaction to any number of these things that have happened? To me, oh, sorry, please.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Only thing I'll say two things, and I may come back to repeating these later. My takeaway from this, I mean, I listed off everything that has just transpired across 3 shows, 5 title changes, 2 betrayals, 2 factions officially forming, and possibly 2 factions officially dissolving. The first thing I'll say is I think it's too much at once with too little time to breathe. And then the second thing I'll say is that you can either earn big moments or you can force big moments. And I tend to have a preference of big moments being earned. And I'm not convinced that that is what has happened with a lot of these things that have just taken place. So that's all I was going to say.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Absolutely. I mean, I found out because I had to everyone like 4 o'clock in the morning or so. I had to wake up my cat wakes me up, and I had to let my cat outside. I probably had to let her in like an hour, anyways. So when that happens, sometimes I'm awake a little bit, and on my phone, people were like letting me know what happened, and that's how I found out how it happened, and that's pretty funny for me, at least. It's funny for me just because on a content creation perspective, I've just been making fun of Saya Kamitani like the entire time. It's because I don't know, it's funny to me, you know. But basically, like, I don't know. It feels for me, it's a lot of fun. For me, it's a lot of fun just to see Saya in this role. But I'm only speaking on her in the role and not necessarily any of the moments or story leading up to it. And a lot of it I need to catch up on and gain a little bit more context in because there's a lot of Red Saya moments I didn't watch, like especially like when she beat Saya Kamitani and when she beat Saki Kashima and took the title away from her and ruined life as we all know it. Basically, again, she so I didn't really like watch. There's a lot I need to watch to really catch up on, and I will. I'm gonna formulate like stuff to talk about and really milk the new Deceiver content, basically, because it's just funny to me. I don't know. It's a lot of fun to me. But from like a character perspective, I need to really just look at it more because was a Golden Phoenix who collapsed due to injury, and then she comes back to try to get it back again, and but kind of clip their wings a little bit, but not doing the Phoenix Splash anymore, and try to develop a new style. Becomes high-speed champion, gains control of that Queen's Quest after Tommy leaves, and then like ends up failing at that by going a little bit too in over her head, it seems, flying a little bit too close to the sun. And once again, she doesn't just burn as a phoenix again, she burns her whole entire unit to the ground, which is and then right afterwards, she loses her high speed to Mei Sarah in a match that I need to watch because I want to see how she reacts a little bit more. and then seemingly snapped, it seems. I mean, Saya Kamatani has always been a creature of emotion and follower of her emotions, it seems like. That's the case. And she seems to be aware that she's not immature enough to handle that. At least she was a couple years ago. Um, so, it's interesting to see her just kind of just follow this wave of how she's feeling. And it's probably just led into a darker path. She recently called herself the Phoenix Queen, that's Phenix, which is I have to look it up again, but it's like I don't know exactly where it's from again, but it's the term that refers to like a specific type of. I have to look it up. It's gonna take a while, but I'll just skip it for now. But she has like a sort of approach to what she's doing. She has a design and intent of where she's going with this character, but I only think it can really work if she goes back to being in the light again, and that might take a while, some kind of redemption arc. Otherwise, she'll just be floating around again. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to really analyze without me watching the full thing with full context. But as for the Whale Tai thing, a Whale Tai rebranded is actually their second rebrand. It used to be Kimura Monster Gun way back when Kyoko Kimura formed the unit. So this would be their third rebrand as Hate. I don't like the name. I don't know many people who do like the name. I gotta say, it's a little on the nose, a little bit too on the nose. I'm not a fan of the name at all. I don't think it's necessary to rebrand for that, but at the same time, it seems like Stardom just wants to do a full Disney Doctor Who rebrand of everything and just keep the lore, but change all the iconography basically and have full control over what they're doing. That's what they seem to be doing. We'll see what happens to maybe like Stars or Cosmic Angels. I don't know. We'll see. I've never been too focused on units anyways, as it is. I think exploring other Joshi made me like we'll look at units in a different way as maybe not a necessary thing. I see the benefit, but it's not my favorite thing in the world anymore as a unit. So I don't know. I think I'm all right for change, but I have to again just watch more context and see if I understand it more and see if it makes more story sense. But as of right now, it kind of just seemed like, just from the general vibe, it kind of just seemed like Saya Kamatani went full Daenerys Targaryen, and then everyone's reacting appropriately to how that event happened during the show, and it's like, wait, what? Where's the build up? There's no build up. Yeah, so I understand the reaction maybe, but but for me, it's a lot of fun just to talk crap about the deceiver Saya Kamatani again. Yeah.
I'm actually curious. I have a question about that because you have been calling her the deceiver literally for years. So I do want to ask a question about that. But one thing I'll kind of piggyback on, I'll say there are a couple of what we could interpret as positives, I think, that are available to her. I actually agree with you. I like the way that she is imbuing this into her performance, and she's starting to play this character in terms of her facial expressions, her body language, playing a little bit of the arrogance and the cruelty, but it's a little more subtle than a lot of her other performing, where she could really, really telegraph everything with big expressions, big physicality. And I think she's kind of dialing it back and being a little more slinky, a little more calculated. And it gives her a chance to branch out in that sense, almost like Starlight Kid did previously, to show a completely other side of what she can do as a dramatic performer. And then, I mean, I give her credit because she is clearly willing to try many, many different things, even things that might not be she might not be extremely familiar with. This was the whole tale of her delving into the high speed realm. And I thought she ended up creating some interesting matchups. And she paired quite well with May Sarah. Their title match, I thought, was solid last night, and they've been in the ring together a couple of times at this point.
Nice.
So those are some positives for sure. I like how you mentioned the build up, right? I go back to this idea of, we can earn big moments or we can force big moments. And with betrayals, the thing I was thinking of is let's say MK, you said to me, hey, String, check your PayPal. I just sent you $20. I figured you could use it. And I go, log in, check my PayPal. It's not there. And I'm like, I don't see it. And you're like, haha, it's not there. Mm-hmm. I betrayed you. You didn't really betray me. You kind of just pranked me or played a joke on me.
Yeah.
And so for Saya and Micah, they've been really good friends for like 2 weeks now. And I've loved it. I've been so amazed by the fact they were even going there. But it really didn't feel like a betrayal maybe can feel when it's deeper than that, when it's canceling out a longer term journey. So that's kind of where I'm at with that at the moment. Again, I think all this stuff, it's a little bit maybe too much with a little bit not enough time to breathe and understand it all. But so back to this nickname, the Deceiver. You've been calling her this forever. So I mean, did you ever have a sense looking at her that maybe she'd be able to play a villain intentionally, or that she would have this other side to herself?
Oh yeah, you just see it in her, man. It's just like, it just, like the Dune book, I'm just, my last name's actually Atreides, and I just see far into the future, have a little too much spice, basically, and I just see it. It's like, oh, she's gonna betray everyone one day. I thought it would happen in the Queen's Quest cage, where she betrays Utami, but love is so powerful, so she let that happen. But then Utami frolic off into the flower garden, and Saya got a little too heated and lost her mind. But no, actually, that started because Saya Kamatani took the white belt from Tam Nakano, which is an equally devious thing to do to the world of Stardom. That was the first shattering of the Elden Ring. She's since done it like multiple times. She did it again to Saki Kashima back when she took that precious away from her, and back she won in America of all places. And then she did it again, and she earlier again, she toppled Momo Watanabe's amazing defense record. She just keeps doing it, just keeps doing it. And then she gets...
I'm starting to be convinced. You're raising a very strong case.
Yeah,
but so while we have you here with your divination abilities and your foretelling powers, let's start to utilize that for talking about this upcoming 5-star Grand Prix. So we've got a tournament to discuss, even though the rear view mirror is like cracked and singed by all the explosions that have been happening. And this tournament is looking fairly strong in terms of who's involved. We actually have the full lineup. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about what the blocks look like, who is in this tournament, how it's going to play out roughly, and then we can just kind of go from there, I guess. So this particular 5-star tournament has 4 different blocks. In years past, we've kind of just split things up between a red side and a blue side, or a red block and a blue block. But now we've kind of cut everything in half even further. So we still have red and blue, but within red and within blue, there are 2 separate blocks each. So for instance, we've got the Red Stars A block. All of these blocks are comprised of 7 people, and everyone within a block will wrestle everyone else in that same block. And then the 2 wrestlers that are the best performing will move on outside of just their Red Stars A block. They will go to the quarterfinals of this tournament. So let's look at who we've got in Red Stars A.
Oh my God. Sorry, go
ahead. We've got Micah of EXV, former red belt champion as of last night, and still currently an Artist of Stardom champion. She's obviously going to be on a bit of a war path, a bit of a revenge path. And everyone in Red Stars A is essentially in her way, I'm sure, as far as she'd be concerned. We've got Hazuki of Stars, the former Goddess of Stardom champion from this year, a 3-time Goddess of Stardom champion at that. Hazuki always puts on a great show throughout the 5-star. Now, one of the newest additions to the 5-star Grand Prix, I'm sure the hype is through the roof for this person. We have Ruaka of Oedo Tai replacing Natsuko Tora, who decided as her first order of business as red belt champion, she's just going to dip out of this tournament altogether. So there is that. Ruaka is a former Future of Stardom champion, for what that's worth. We have the current white belt champion, the Wonder of Stardom champion, Natsupoi of Cosmic Angels. We have a wannabe deceiver, or a mini deceiver, in Konami of, I guess we'll say Oedo Tai, or I guess we'll say Hate, because that's what they're telling us to say. Konami of Hate, a former Goddess of Stardom champion as well. You'll note that there are a lot of former Goddess of Stardom champions. That belt cannot stay in one place for more than like 2 seconds. So we also have Manami, who is a wrestler from Sendai Girls. And I do not know a lot about her. She seems like a ton of fun. She's got a ton of energy, a cool, unique character, and she's going to play off of everybody very well. She had a stellar tag team match in Stardom on July 4th at Korakuen Hall. It was Manami and Mika Iwata against Natsupoi and Saori Ano. So I'm actually very much looking forward to how she's going to add a little bit of flavor to the tournament picture. And then just qualifying very recently is Yuna Mizumori.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very happy for her, of Cosmic Angels as well. So did you have any thoughts on this particular block you want to shoot off, or I can go over all the blocks and we can double back later?
We can go like this, yeah. Well, I'm excited about Unimon for sure because she's like just, I mean, anyone from Choco Pro just gets my love automatically. Just no matter what, that's just the rule. I don't make it up. I don't make the rules. That's just how it works. So Unimon just automatically gets my love. I'm glad she's in there, and I'm glad she can have really solid matches with people like Konami or like Maika or Natsupoi or even Hazuki. It's just I'm pretty excited. Not Natsupoi as well. I'm so happy that she's white belt champion. I didn't get a chance to talk about that. I don't know if I will for like a video. So I think I'm really happy that she finally reached this level. I've been waiting for her to reach this level since her feud of Tam Nakano. I'm really, really happy that she's champion. I really, really, really hope that Hazuki has a good showing. It's a very, very, very shame that she's kind of just floating around still. She should definitely be a lot higher on the card. But unfortunately, she's just in the current situation where I just don't see her. Well, now they're picking the top two, because I didn't know that. I don't know. That's my fault for not knowing that. But because I didn't really realize how these work. It was going to work, but she might make top two in that case. But I think Maika has to win this. I think after what she went through, I think this is like a must win for her completely. And I think everyone else should do good showings. I think Natsupoi would unfortunately eat a lot more pins than you think she would. And as for Minami, I'm not too familiar with her as well. In terms of Sendai, I got someone in chat said they're so good and really good tag matches. So it must be a really good tag wrestler. That's cool. I'll have to check her more out when the tournament starts. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I think Maika is going to pull it out though.
Very cool. Yeah, I think you're going to like Manami. I don't want to, I really hate to front load people's expectations, but I think / hope you will like her. And if I had to pick like one signature match from this one, I really want to see Manami and Natsupoi one-on-one and Manami and Yuna Mizumori. So, but I agree with you on Maika getting out of this, because I think they're going to try to build this idea that Maika is crawling her way towards revenge, and they're going to tease that maybe she can go the full distance and meet with Saya Kamitani in the final. I think that's going to be a plot line to look at.
Yes.
All right, so we will jump into Red Stars Block B. I think we talked beforehand that we're in agreement that this is actually probably the group of death in this entire tournament. I mean, I don't feel envious of anybody in this block, because they're going to get their ass whooped no matter who they are.
Nice.
All right, we will check this out here. We've got the icon of Stardom, Mayu Iwatani, current IWGP champion. We've got the top kawaii of the Cosmos, Tam Nakano of Cosmic Angels. So right off the bat, we've got two faction leaders, the two wrestlers currently active, who share the distinction of at one point being red belt and white belt champions simultaneously. We have one of the winningest and longest reigning former white belt champions in Momo Watanabe of Hate. We've got one of the winningest and longest reigning high-speed champions in Azumi of Neo Genesis. We have the current high-speed champion Mei Sarah, also of Neo Genesis. We have somebody that is just going to chop the world down in this tournament, Saya Ida of Stars, and visiting from JTO, Just Tap Out, a recent challenger for the red belt itself, Tomoka Inaba. So, this block is just absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm. This is absolutely like every single one. Any matchup between these competitors is just like awesome. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for every single one of these competitors. It's like it doesn't even matter for me who wins. I mean, you obviously got my gold Mayu Iwatani. She's just like, she can just lose every single match at this point. It doesn't really matter, honestly, because she's just so awesome and just so like so much of the go that I always look forward to Mayu 5-star performances a lot. It's my chance to really just watch her interact with everybody as much as possible. And we of course, you have Tam Nakano as well. She'll have a some phenomenal performances. I always root for Momo in these situations. Always root for Momo. I don't think nothing's going to happen to Momo at all, but I always for the last 3 years, anytime I see Momo in these things, I root for Momo. Azumi as well. Super excited, always excited to see Azumi. It's just every single person here. May Sarah's gonna have amazing matches with all of them. So is Inaba as well. I mean, I haven't seen Inaba in a long time since the Goddess Tag League like 2 years ago, even I think with 1.5. I don't even remember. So it's been a long time. So I'm interested to see how she's evolved. Saya Ida as well. I'm glad she's here. Shout out to Twitch streamer Ariana. Favorite wrestler there. Amazing. She's great. I'm excited to see her against a bunch of people. In terms of who might win this, though, I would just throw out Azumi. I think maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying that just excitement, but I think, of course, would want Momo to win. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think Azumi needs to be moving up the card already. So that would be my pick.
I actually agree with you. I think she will be one of the people to advance to the quarterfinals. The story of this tournament will in some ways be the story of the focal point switching to, as you mentioned, these new factions that it seems like Bushiroad wants to take pride in and wants to make popular to prove that, hey, we're contributing a lot to the Stardom scene. So I think the factions of Hate and Neo Genesis are going to feature heavily. Every member of Neo Genesis is actually in this tournament, which is kind of funny. But I do see Azumi advancing. I think maybe Tam Nakano will be the other person to advance from here. But the matches are just going to be insane. I could pick almost any pairing, and it makes you get excited for what they could put together. The one I will single out from that block is I really want to see Mayu Iwatani and May Sarah in particular, because there's not a lot of other context we would get to have them actually face each other in a singles match. And we know Mayu Iwatani can keep up with high-speed wrestlers.
Oh,
she can do anything. So that one is going to be cool.
I do expect, like someone here in chat said, time limit draws. I do expect that. Like, I don't expect Mayu and Tam to make it to this to have a decision at all. So I do expect some of that. But I agree. I think it'll be fun. Like, probably the most fun. I'll definitely be paying attention to that one a lot for sure.
Well, we probably should have talked about that one last, because now we've peaked and now we're just going to collapse. But we'll go over to the Blue Stars block.
Just like, blah, who cares, right?
Doesn't even matter. So let's check out Blue Stars. There are definitely some really interesting pairings of people. So with Blue Stars A, we have the now former Wonder of Stardom champion Saori Ano, who I believe still has a Sendai Girls belt.
Yep.
Because she took 2 back home with her after July 15th, and she's from Cosmic Angels. We have Shuri, the former Goddess of Stardom champion from God's Eye, very much scorned. She's like the blue block Micah. We've got almost 2 revenge stories on either side of this tournament. So that's kind of interesting, right? It's kind of like, will Shuri make it across to face Konami in the finals, or will Micah make it across to face Saya in the finals? There's a lot of things. We've got Starlight Kid. I don't know if she's officially the leader, but she's carrying herself as like the poster child of Neo Genesis. She is currently the Spark Joshi World champion, maybe.
Yeah, Spark Joshi, yeah.
And she's got a lot going for her since being dropped by Oedo Tai. I'm expecting her to perform quite well in this tournament. Her tournament last year was not great, so hopefully some things will turn around. Yeah. We've got Xena, who is a current Artist of Stardom champion from EXV, a former challenger for Micah's red belt just a little over a month ago. It's absolutely absurd how quickly things are moving. We have Koguma, former Goddess of Stardom champion of Stars, and we have Anna Jay from AEW, who will be probably physically the biggest person in this block, possibly.
Yeah, I would say so.
So the potential to bully some people around, and then just squeaking in, qualifying Neo Genesis Kevin Miyu Amasaki, with no real major acclaim to her career other than just being cool, having a cool moveset. And she seems to really, I don't know if you saw her Neo Genesis match, like their debut. She's changed her personality, a lot more energy, a lot more movement, very happy, bubbly. So it'll be curious to see how long that lasts, or will she revert to the inner psychosis?
Yes, no, I'm yeah, they're definitely this card here. I'm definitely looking for more Starlight Kid to perform very, very well, hopefully, because last year, unfortunately, Starlight Kid has just been in a position where she had to be, I guess, eating a lot of losses and not getting a lot of major wins, and that's really unfortunate. But I think she's absolutely ready. She's been ready to just get more and more. But she's got a tough field. She's got Shuri there who could very well get this. Shuri Ano as well. I'm looking forward to any match, of course, with Ano because she's legitimately just one of my favorite wrestlers, one of my favorite women wrestlers today, across the board for promotion. She's definitely up there. So I'll be watching a lot of that. I'll be interested in seeing how good old Kevin over there would be doing though, because yeah, I like seeing this young rookies or the young first these young upstarters go up against these bigger wrestlers and bigger names. That'd be fun. NJ though, it's a choice. I can't say I'm not gonna be mean or anything, but because the thing about this is that Mariah May herself got like a lot better just by being in Stardom. There's something about just being training with Joshi and then just working with them and just working this intense work style where it's just a lot of matches happening constantly and constantly. It's going to do wonders for her. So she can only improve from this. And that'll be great, actually. We'll see what happens by the end of it and see how well she improves. You know, she might surprise everybody at the same time, too. You know, Western style and Joshi style is a completely different style. So I'll be curious. You know, she might pull it out and it might be good. The only person I'm really not as familiar with is Xena. I just didn't watch as much of Mina Shirakawa's new gang thing. You know, I just haven't been watching as much of it. So yeah. So the only thing I know about Xena is that if I would be covering this 5-star, I'd just be making a bunch of Xena jokes. But I don't know too much about the Warrior Princess here. But
Oh shoot!
I see some gifts and I see some cool moves, but that's really all I've seen. So yeah, it's interesting. Interesting block. Yeah. I don't know who pulls it out though. I'm hoping Starlight Kid though.
We are very much on the same page because I think what I have right now is Starlight Kid and Shuri making it further. I'm glad you brought up Xena for a couple of reasons. I actually think she's been killing it lately. Way more versatile than you would first think, and way more versatile than she was when she had her first run in Japan. So the main thing with her that I'm wondering about is this same time last year, Mariah May fought out her Grand Prix, and the last Grand Prix match was her last match in Stardom. So I wonder if Xena's on a similar kind of time frame or not. Will she remain in Stardom beyond this tournament? She's going to be rematching Shuri, and Shuri was the last match Xena had in 2023. It was quite good. Cool. So I'll be interested to see the level of improvement from there. And yeah, I think I said I have Starlight Kid advancing, Shuri as well. And I'm glad you chimed in on Anna Jay because you've covered a bit of AEW, especially in recent times.
Oh, AEW, yeah. She's not doing anything at the moment, anyways, Anna Jay. So I guess if you want to send somebody, I mean, it's clearly she worked with Mina Shirakawa, so clearly Tony Khan has something for her and nothing for. I don't know, but it'll be fun to see. Who knows? If they got to put somebody in there, I actually thought they would actually put like Mika Iwata in there or something. That's what I thought they were leading towards. But I guess I don't know.
I think a lot of people had that same sort of notion that would happen. Do you have any excitement for Sauriano versus Shuri by chance?
Of course. Oh yeah. It's just this any match, of course, with like Sauriano versus Starlight Kid to rematch again because they had a good white belt match. That'll be fun, and then her with Shuri as well because she's legitimately one of the best and. Shuri still has one of the best matches of this year for me with Mayu Iwatani earlier in the year. So I'm always excited to see some intense stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how their two styles will work because Shuri's really straightforward, really in your face, heavy striking, and Sauriano's a little more elusive than that.
Yeah.
And I want to see that play off of each other.
I think she can be aggressive when it happens, and you really see that. That's what I like about Ano. She's very subtle in what she does, and when she decides to get angry, it just comes off like way more angry. You know, that resting face that she has just gets a bit more scornful, you know, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it almost hits harder when the person that you're used to seeing be calm all the time actually goes off. It really strikes you because it's so different from what you're used to. And she's just masterful in how she plays her demeanor and her facial expressions and how she reacts to things or doesn't, which
Yeah,
is her choice a lot of the time. So, and we've got one more block, which is Blue Stars B. If I'm keeping track here, let's take a look. All right, so getting
nice.
down to brass tacks, the block that, at least in my mind, has shifted the most in terms of expectations, predictions, because of the events of last night. Again, if you guys are tuning in a little later in the day, heavy spoilers for everything that's been going on in Stardom the past week. In Blue Stars B, we have the former Grand Prix champion of 2023, Suzuki of Neo Genesis. We have the Deceiver, Sayakami Tani, now of the new faction Hate, formerly of Queen's Quest. This is hard to even process that I'm saying these things. Former high speed champion, a former a lot of things, if I'm honest. Moving on to Hanan, this year's 2024. It's a little redundant. Cinderella tournament winner, and formerly the challenger for the white belt against Saori Ano, and a former New Blood tag champion as well. I forgot about that one. Got a former high speed champion, Saki Kashima of God's Eye. We've got Rana Yagami, who is filling in for Ami Sore, also of God's Eye, and she got some kind of runner-up or consolation prize trophy for the Catch the Wave tournament, where she was in some kind of like rookie specific group and she did well there, so they gave her like a trophy or something. We've got Thekla, the toxic spider, who's trying to kill off the cosmic angels because she wants to kill all idols. She is the current Goddess of Stardom champion, and wouldn't you know it, showing up just at the last minute to make things even more interesting. It wasn't like this was already going to be a chaotic block. From Prominence, we have Risa Sarah paying her old friend Suzu Suzuki a visit. This block is wild.
I agree. Risa is always fun in these tournaments because she had a lot of big moves basically, and they all look powerful. And I like that. I like that. They're really explosive, and it'll be fun just to have her start some chaos. Tekla though, let's shout out to Tekla for just fucking sorry, just killing it with her new attitude. I just love it. I love this new killer attitude she's doing. It's what I've wanted to see. Just her just up that punk rock her. Just like I don't care about anything. Just like after rebellion, all that. Love it so much. It's so good. I hope they lean in on that eventually because she deserves it 100%. Um, Saki Kashima, I forgot. I'm surprised because I assumed she wasn't going to be in this when I thought about this. So then I was like, oh, she is in this because it's a smaller block, so she doesn't have to work as much. So that's great. I'm always excited to see Saki Kashima. I'll be very excited that against her against Risa Sarah. That'll be a really fun match. She'll be swung around and that'll be great comedy. I'm sure Saki Kashima is also glad that she's not with Shuri in the block. She doesn't have to face, you know, I'm sure Shuri's glad actually. I mean, don't want to face that final boss energy. You gotta watch out. I do wish Hanan was like in a maybe like a different block or something because she just won. I mean, she won the Cinderella tournament, but here there's a couple notable wins she can pick up, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be much of a significant tournament for Hanan other than a couple wins and couple of losses. Maybe she pulls it out and gets second though. That might be interesting. But for sure though, this block is all Saya Kamatani eyes on her just to see, for me personally, just to see how she acts, how she wants to add to the character because it takes a while. Like when Momo Watanabe turned, she just went goth and did goth for a bit, and then she slowly changed the style of what she was doing, and she slowly added more elements with weapons and wrenches and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see what type of what she adds to her arsenal. Maybe she changes stuff up. I don't know. I'm always interested in seeing like good people fall into the darkness and see how they handle it and see if they come back out of it. It's why I liked Hyper Misao and TJPW's descent into Misao. You know, it's just such a fascinating character work into psychology and stuff like that. And I want to see if Saya Kamatani leans into that and really gives me something interesting. That's all I'm really interested in that about. But I think she's gonna win this 100%. So
A very cool summary of the characters involved and what might be awaiting them in terms of the matches. I've got Saya also advancing from this block. Again, I think the tournament is going to largely be centered around hate the group, not the
yeah,
not the concept of hate, but maybe that as well. I don't know.
right.
And Neo Genesis. So I'm actually at the moment I'm actually running with Hanan also getting to the quarterfinals, and the reason I say that is I had Suzu Suzuki first because I thought they were going to play off a little bit of like tennis serving back and forth between Saya and Suzu, but I'm starting to lean a different way. Suzu has already had 2 insane runs in the 5-star GP back to back, and Hanan hasn't. Hanan has kind of been like the punching bag of the last 2 5-stars. So I think they might give her a little bit more success, even though she already has tournament success this year. I think they might be building her back up and maybe trying to play a little bit of a possible storyline of her crossing over to face Tam Nakano on the other side, because they were starting to build something last night. So there's just so much to try and figure out. It's really starting to break my brain, but it's a good block. It's going to teach us a lot. I like what you said about Saya, and I'm really curious to see how this influences her wrestling. I mentioned how she's kind of she performs big, and she flails her limbs around, flails her legs around. If someone has her in trouble, her expressions get huge on her face. She really swings around like a phoenix. His wings are flying around, and she could spontaneously combust at any time. And her moveset, and how she sells, that stuff has to change a little bit for her to pull this character off. And so I'm curious how she's going to do that. She just got like trial by fire, like a crash course in high speed, and now she's doing something different than even that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to have some confidence that at least the matches will be good and her style will be, very much watchable.
She just got tired of crying, so she's
right. Yeah, the tear ducts ran completely dry. There was nothing left.
I think
she's got to get tears from other people now.
I think she can do it though. Like when I was watching WrestleMania weekend and then I saw the Ring of Honor Stardom match, my favorite person in that entire six-man Stardom match was Saya Kamatani. I thought she was perfect in that match, so I think she can do it. I think she has the focus. She'll probably be over dramatic at first and probably a lot, but I think she might calm that down, or maybe it might be good. Who knows? Kenny Omega was super over dramatic, but he made that work, I think. So I guess it really depends. Really depends how she wants to go about it. But yeah, I'm more interested in how she does that, and also she'll probably change the look up and she'll look stunning. She'll slay it absolutely. So I think I'm not too worried about it. I'm just more interested in how the character work happens, and but I do think she is more than likely, if we're gonna head into that next segment, and she probably is gonna like head to the finals. Probably that's probably what they're wrestling as. Like before I came into this, I was thinking, she's 100% gonna win this, but a little bit doubtful now. I think it opens up a little bit to maybe other winners, but it seems like I think she's more than likely gonna end up in the finals for sure. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna fail that like that basically.
There were kind of 2 branching paths that I was looking at just over the past not even 24 hours to try and figure this out. I had a whole different trajectory for the 5-star, certain people being heroes, certain people not. And now that's out the window. So I think for the time being, I haven't had a lot of time to really run the numbers. I do think that we are possibly getting a final of, on the red block side, Tam Nakano, and on the blue block side, Saya Kamitani, which in a way it is bookending the opening night of 2023, where they were the main event of that opening night show and they didn't get to conclude the match as intended.
That's true. And it's also it's a classic feud in general between those, classic matchup between them, and a
lot of history
for Saya Kamitani to go around and once again take the cosmos away from Tam Road. You're gonna put a big old roadblock on Tam Road again. So sorry.
Okay, well, my vision is actually somehow the Tam Road breaks through, and Tam becomes the anointed would be challenger of
I can,
Natsuko.
I can see that just because because again, Stardom's going in a new direction in general, and Bushiroad seemingly does love our top kawaii of the Cosmos very, very much, and she seems to be very accepting of this role. It can happen. I can see Tam winning this whole thing. I can, and Tam's one of my favorite wrestlers, so I'm not against it. It's just fun to lean all the way into the Tam religion. I used to have a whole
You're
bit
fully
about it. I used to
converted,
have a
huh?
whole bit. Yeah, I used to have a whole bit, but I don't remember the bit anymore. At the top of my head.
Well, we know about the dreaded Tamu virus that struck people like Utami in the past. It is
Oh
very
yeah.
potent.
Oh yeah. Now,
It's not to be
yeah.
trifled
Now
with.
Ishikawa over in Marigold right now, and it's trying to get has gotten over it, and trying to recover from it. So
Yeah, it's a long journey. It's a long recovery. So
yeah. I don't know, but I think a good match. Other than that, I think another good match would be like Azumi versus Sai, just on a match basis as a final. That would be a killer match if you want to go that route. I think it'd be absolute killer match.
That was actually my original final before this past week. I thought that's what they were building to. I think Azumi will get pretty far. I had her going into the quarters. I think having her stop there, but she could easily make it to the finals, and she's totally deserving. We know how good she is. We know we know how well she pairs with almost anybody. It's just amazing what she does.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Can I dial back one thing?
No.
And I've heard you say this before when you talked about that Ring of Honor 6-person match, and you said Saya Kamitani you thought gave a perfect performance.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Are you talking about timing, selling, playing to an American crowd? Was there something in particular that kind of gave you that?
The role in that wasn't really too much of hi everyone, I'm Saya Kamitani, because that belonged to like Mina. Mina stole that. Tam was there. I mean, all them people. Yeah, that wasn't really her role. She was just there just to fill in the action, but I thought she was great. I'll have to watch it again in regards to facial expressions because I don't remember, but I just remember just leaving that match just being like, oh my god, Saya is very nearly at that spot that she can definitely be in. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool to see. That's so cool. But yeah, I don't know. I do like Saya. I think she's a good wrestler. I think she can do it. I always thought that she was just a tad bit, because you mentioned she goes like this a lot. I used to always make fun of that for that very reason. She was like, I got hit. Oh my eyes, she's like, oh my, yeah. In comparison to like Mayu, how I watched her do reach for the ropes and stuff like that. But I think that comes with time. She's only like at this point, I think it's like 4 to 5 years in. I don't remember. That number changes a lot. And she comes from like a dance background and stuff like that. So she has like a lot of innate talent in her that will just naturally come anyway. So we'll see how she performs
for sure.
As long as she doesn't go like American Hot Topic mid 2000s new metal goth, as long as she doesn't go like too far into that. I don't want to see her like wearing like goth chains and like spikes, anything like that, like skulls,
rocking the wallet chain.
Let's not go too dramatic here. I don't want to say anything like that. Just don't. Yeah, you don't have to go that far.
So are you ultimately kind of leaning towards her taking the whole tournament down still, or do you think they're?
It's hard to say because where's who defeats Natsuko Tora? Who does that? Where is she actually going to go Saya wise, like in this group? I don't know. That's tough. I don't actually can't really predict a winner in that regard because I don't know where she's going to be. For all we know, we can just be wrong and Micah decides to just win this whole thing. We don't know. That can happen too. So that's tough. It's tough. I think it's like 50-50, I would say.
I'm pretty split on it too because I think some people's first impression might be, well, Mike is not going to just immediately come back and grab the red belt again. But if we just look to a couple weeks back, Sauriano lost the white belt and she reclaimed it almost immediately. So they're not afraid of these rapid revenge stories. And once again, I'll just say it one more time. You can earn big moments or you could force big moments. And rapid revenge is kind of like rapid betrayal. I don't know how much it really counts as betrayal or revenge. You know what I mean?
again, it's like Game of Thrones, really. It's just like the whole last season of Game of Thrones just being unearned and being too rushed, and you can just tell. You can absolutely tell, and it's unfortunate. But yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So we're gonna open things up. Hopefully you're still okay for time.
Oh
We
yeah.
can jump into Q&A right now, or if you had any other things you wanted to bring up about the 5-star, about the recent absolute nutso circus show of Stardom.
Yeah, sure,
Mhm.
sure. I didn't talk about Natsuko Tora. I'm happy she won because I like Natsuko Tora. I mean, I think she is a boss. You know, I see she gets hate. You know, I do see she gets hate. I mean, it's probably why she named her group Hate. You know, but but I think Natsuko's great. You know, she's been there for a long time. She had a torn ACL that took her out for a very long period of time. When I started doing Stardom content, she was out on the men, just hanging out in the shadows, ordering people around. You know, it's just that's what she was doing. I think she can work well with anybody, and have a really good, exciting match and stuff like that. So, yeah, it just depends on who beats her. I don't know. I don't know. It is a bit unfortunate for Micah. I don't think she held it for a very long time. I mean, 200 days, yeah, but I don't know. It's a little seems a little sad, but a little underwhelming. But I'm happy for Natsuko. Selfishly, I do want Momo to eventually climb to the top and win something, you know. So seeing all these new people in this hate group does make me have a little bit of copium that maybe Momo can leave the evil group sooner rather than later. You know, I would like to see that personally because I want to see Momo win something important. Selfishly, that's it. But that's it, really. That's all I gotta say. Everything else is just kind of wait and see. I can't really talk too much until I see it. But I'm excited to start talking about it. I'm excited to start making material. I got about it again. You know. Um, yeah, yeah. I
That's
don't know.
cool to hear. Definitely looking forward to that. I'll just respond to a couple of the things you brought up.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that whole question of like who is going to rise up and kind of face off against Natsuko Tora, one of the things that I think they maybe overplayed is this sort of like flat surface of the fact that this group Hate is opposing almost everybody else. Like everybody has some kind of grudge
Yeah, they
against
hate
them.
it.
They've been wronged in some way. So it's like, okay, I'm mad at Natsuko because the group screwed me over and I lost a big match. Like, who am I talking about? That could be a number of different people. So
It's a
it
bit.
does make each person's individual story and each motivation for revenge a little less special, I think.
Yeah,
So I
it's a
think
bit.
that's something they have to navigate.
A bit it's going a bit. I mean, when you have one villain group, yeah, they're going a bit Bullet Clubbish, or like I don't watch New Japan, but I imagine the reaction I've been seeing is like House of whatever they're called. You know, Evil's group. You know, that's the vibe that I'm getting from the reaction, which is fair. You know, but yeah, it's definitely fair. I mean, when you have like a group who his entire purpose for the last 2 years has literally just been vibe and cheat and not care about winning, it's hard. It's hard to put
Mhm.
those stakes behind it. You know,
I agree.
it's tough. It's tough.
And then you mentioned Momo and you mentioned Saya and stuff.
Whoa.
I'm kind of one thing I'm nervous about is this group having essentially 3 Momos. And what I mean by that is, like you said, Momo's career could have gone just about anywhere. She took it this route, and for whatever reason, that kind of devolved her in a sense that she could no longer be at the top of the company where she was. And I'm kind of a little nervous that the same thing could be the case for Thekla and for Saya Kamitani, both all 3 occupying this little branch of Hate. They're kind of like lieutenants rather than captains. I don't even know if that lines up, but they're seconds in command, and I'm not sure how much they'll be given from here in terms of the booking and in terms of actually bringing home trophies of some kind. So hopefully we don't have just people who are in the same place as Momo is, and everybody can kind of move around and elevate.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Well, why don't we jump into our Q&A? Are you doing okay for time to jump through some
Oh yeah,
questions?
no, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay, cool. So
What do you mean now? It's fine, yeah.
let's go ahead and transfer over. So I have some of the pre-existing Q&A questions kind of queued up. And then if there are some questions in the comments, I will try my best to sort through those and pick them out. But thanks to everybody who ahead of time submitted questions. We will get to those first. We would prefer Stardom or Grand Prix related questions, but this first one actually isn't. which is kind of funny. So from Lord Elfstone, the
Elfstone.
question is, what are your thoughts on Maki Ito? And I think your answer to this will be way more interesting than mine. I don't watch a ton of TJPW and things like that. I give Maki Ito a lot of credit for carving out a very unique persona, having appeal in the States, having appeal in Japan. She puts on very good matches. And one of the first Joshi I've seen to just liberally use the nastiest like profanity in English and juxtapose the cuteness persona. So I give her a lot of credit. I don't have anything bad to say about her, but I also don't know a lot. But I'll let you answer this because not only have you made multiple videos on her, but as far as I know, your journey to becoming a content creator almost started with seeing somebody's video on Maki Ito.
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely. Operation Rainfall's video on Maki Ito. Basically, it's the first time I saw like that people made video essays on wrestling content. Like people do that. People watch that. And I didn't know that, and I saw that. It's like, oh wow, did not know that. It kind of like opened my mind that, oh wait, maybe I can eventually just talk wrestling. If I want to talk wrestling, I can use my editing skills and combine them both and force myself to talk um on the internet about things that I think are cool and format it in a video essay way. I thought that, yeah, so that was pretty exciting. But Maki Ito, no, surely you know that she's the cutest in the world. I mean, come on. Oh, sorry, my my second monitor just turned on finally. Oh, nice, my
Oh,
internet works
nice.
again. Nice,
Okay. Just
wow.
in time. Perfectly timed.
No, sorry. Well, surely you know that Maki Ito though is the cutest in the world. I mean, come on. I mean, we all know this. And she is. I mean, very much so. Carter Path for herself. I love her character so much. The best way to describe her character, though, I mean, if you ever seen the movie Perfect Blue, that's Maki Ito, 100%. Oh, it's an anime. It's an anime. You should see it by Satoshi Kon. It's amazing. It's very parallel to Maki Ito. I absolutely love it, adore it. But she's great. Carved out her own career as a failed idol. Started calling herself the cutest in the world, not as a fact, but as an affirmation. If you say it enough, eventually people will call you that as well. And it worked. She is the cutest in the world. She made herself the cutest in the world through her own will. She easily made herself a name outside of TJPW, which is amazing. To the point where GCW in the States is the one using her correctly. They're using her exactly how she should be used, just using that cuteness, that hardcore violence of her. And yeah, I adore Maki Ito. I think she's a phenomenal performer, a great character, and you can put her in a lot of scenarios and have a great old time, you know. But even in TJPW, she's had some classic, really good, this like good, serious, emotional matches as well. So top-notch performer. Love Maki.
And definitely check out some of Meerkat's videos on Maki Ito for sure. But we got some more questions to roll through. So Big C428 says, if they hadn't already been announced, who do you want to see take final spots? Well, they have been announced, so I will modify this question. I will say I'll give you my two favorite final announcements, and then the person I'm most surprised, or some of the people I'm surprised aren't in this tournament. So definitely very glad to see the announcement of Risa Serra on the blue block side, and I'm glad that Yuna Mizumori qualified on the red block side, because she's had a strong year, but no real solid credentials, and this is a chance for her to do that.
Yes.
And then obviously we have to talk about some of the people that are surprising not to be in this. Mina Shirakawa is a really big surprise.
Absolutely.
I think maybe the assumption is that she's going to do more stuff in America from here.
That's
Not entirely, super clear or not, but seems to be
which, you know
likely.
what? Go for it, go. Dominate AEW. She's the best part of AEW anyways. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she is. I mean, Mina Shirakawa, Tony Storm, and Mariah May story are just they knocked it out of the park. They're still knocking it out of the park. It's like, I know I made fun of Tony Storm many times before, but this is absolutely Tony Storm's best role and absolutely Tony Storm's best story that she's ever been in, and she's absolutely firing all cylinders. So I'll give her all the credit there. And Mina Shirakawa should just like join AEW. Just do it. Do it, girl. I don't care. Just do it. I mean, I want to see her in Stardom. I want to see her wrestle a lot more in Joshi, obviously, selfishly, but she can succeed over there, I think, as long as Tony uses her and doesn't have her lose a lot, which don't trust AEW in that.
It's
So
possible. That's possible.
I don't
Yeah.
trust AEW in that though, unfortunately. So, but I think she can really entertain and really use her style, and she knows it. She knows exactly what she's doing when she's in front of an American audience. She knows exactly what she's doing. So I'm happy for her if she gets success in that way. But yeah, kind of shocked that she's not in the 5-star. But I'm happy for Yuna. Absolutely happy for Yuna, and that's who I'm over the moon for to see in this because she deserves it. She's a great wrestler. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we got some more questions to roll through. We've got Stardom fan Mark. So shout out to the Stardom fan Discord. If you're looking for a place to chat Stardom, that is definitely a very active Discord server. And got a couple questions from Stardom fan Mark. Okay, a little bit pointed here. Who do you guys think Saya Kamitani beats in the finals to win it all? It sounds like, if I remember, we're both kind of looking at maybe Tam Saya, or you were saying Saya Azumi, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe one of those two. Yeah, it seems likely that it would be that.
Yeah,
whether she
maybe
wins
an
it all or
outside.
not, though,
Yeah.
is the question. Though I'm a little bit more doubtful this time than I was yesterday when I went to sleep. So
Yeah, and this question was sent long before that as well, so they didn't factor that in necessarily unless they have future sites like you do. So and then an outside chance of maybe Saya Micah in the finals. Outside, we'll see. Okay, next up from also Stardom fan Mark. How close does the future icon and current Cinderella Hanan get to the finals? Does she fight Saya? And this is actually referring to Saya Ida on the final night.
Oh,
And my prediction is quarterfinals and probably no further than that, sadly. But I think she has a chance of making it out of her block. And no, unfortunately, I don't think Saya Ida makes it on the other side.
No ring gory fighting. Yeah, unfortunately not. Saya Ida is someone who can benefit greatly from just going like on an excursion somewhere and just wrestling somewhere else. Because I think just for a bit, because man, I just feel bad for her at this point. I just feel so bad for her at this point because she's working so hard. She looks great. It's just her moveset's improving. So yeah, I feel really bad for Saya these days. And it's really unfortunate because it's just how that hierarchy just happens to work at this moment for her. So it's a bit unfortunate.
Okay, we'll move on. We've got Enigma V4. So shout out to Enigma V4. Check out Talk for Glory. I actually was just on that show and had a good talk there. Few questions. First of all, what match do you think will be match of the tournament in each block? Holy crap. I think we may have to go and look at the blocks. Try and rapid fire this. So Red Stars A, match of the tournament from here. Oh, gosh. I have a feeling Hazuki will be involved. I think Natsupoi Hazuki could put out some absolute magic. I think Konami's probably got a really insane match in her in this tournament.
Yeah, I'll go Konami versus Natsupoi. I think that's gonna be great.
I can't really object to that. I think that's a fair guess. Let's move on to Red Stars B. So I said I was most looking forward to Mayu Mei Sarah, but shoot, Azumi Mei Sarah has to be insane as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'll go with that, I think.
Absolutely, man. That's a hard one, honestly. It really is.
Tough.
Like I would love because Mayu and Azumi is gonna be great as well. I feel like Mayu against anybody. Really, that's a hard one, honestly. That one's a tough one. I think any of these can really steal the show. But yeah, I'll give it to Azumi. I'll say Azumi and Mei Sarah are gonna really like do some amazing things together because they really can.
All right, Blue Stars A. Oh gosh, Blue Stars A. Holy smokes. I wish you had seen more of Xena's stuff. Her red belt challenge was really great. Gosh, Shuri and Xena could put on another really good match. This is hard to
watch out for that Koguma Anna Jay match, though. You know Anna Jay is going to stuff the bear. She's going to be a bear, and yep, it's going to be a thing. I think I really want to see Kevin. I want to see Amasaki versus Ano. I think that would be
nice one.
Fun. Yeah, that would be so much fun. But other than that, Shuri versus Soriano for sure is gonna absolutely just slap. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Shuri's gonna go hard in the paint in this tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Shuri and Xena now that Xena has really leveled up.
Nice.
And then last Blue Stars B. Oh no.
Right. It's
Oh,
tough.
no.
It's tough to say anything with Saya because I don't know how she's gonna act with her character. So I will say that I am looking forward to this little demon, Saki Kashima. Oh my god, it ruined my own joke. Oh no, Saki Kashima. Yeah, the fastest woman alive will go against Sarah and get destroyed. She'll die. She'll be scared and she'll be thrown around and she'll be going round and round. And then and she'll suffer. And she might pull off the victory because I think if I remember correctly, Kashima has beaten Risa Sarah before with the Kishi Kaisei. I think that happened. I cannot remember at the moment. So, revenge match.
No one is safe.
No one's safe.
Yeah. For some reason, I've got a feeling that Suzuki and Thekla will be absolute madness. And I don't think they've shared much ring time.
No, I forgot because this will be the first time she's in this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
you might be right. Yeah, she was going to be a couple years back, and she got injured. Yeah, so she's got a lot to show, right? She wants to definitely make a statement as usual these days. So, all right, cool, good question there.
Nice.
Let's go ahead and check out some of the other questions from Enigma V4. Which champion do you think gets the most losses? So current champion who's getting the most losses. I have no idea. Champion. Let's look again.
I feel like Natsupoi is going to lose a lot more than you think she's going to lose.
Yeah, that's kind of.
She's got to create, contenders. If they do the classic route, she's got to, create people to fight her. So I feel like she will lose to a couple people that you don't think she will lose to. So.
I hate to say this, but maybe May Sarah. Sometimes they do that to high-speed champs where it's like, yeah, you're the champion of that division, but there's another league here that kind of you still have to shape up to get in line with. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'll pick May Sarah. I mean, we could cheat and be like, oh, is there a new blood tag person somewhere? I don't think there is.
No.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, all right. A good question, though. So let's see what else Enigma V4 has for us. Who is someone currently active that you would add to the 5-star GP from any company? And I have a number of answers to this, but I will just throw out. Let's see. The one that I think would fit the most with the most people is Mio Momino from Marvelous. I think she can tangle with some of the faster people. I think she can sell really well to some of the bigger people. And she seems like she's able to put on these really high intensity, high quality matches. And she could fit in almost any of those blocks.
Yeah. Mio Watanabe, 100%. Mio Watanabe, 1,000%. One of the best Joshis in the world. And probably TGPW's best performer. I think she'll kill it. If she had a chance to do that, cross promotional. Someone else though, if I just throw it would be because she's as solid and one of the best in the world as well. Would be Shoko Nakajima, the big kaiju, as well. Very, very, very fluid in there. So good, so underrated, underappreciated, I would say. So definitely those two, but Mio Watanabe for sure. More people need to be watching Mio Watanabe in general because what a performer. What a performer.
Yeah, she's on my list as well. I would throw her in this block in particular. I'd love to see her strength versus Micah's strength, and I'd love to see some of her quirkiness against a lot of these people.
Oh, yeah.
So I think she'd do really well there. All right, let's see what other questions we got. From Richard Nixon. Saki actually tried to save Shuri. Does this mean that Shuri's teachings are working and final boss killer Kashima will be the first person to go undefeated in the 5-star? I don't know how we could deny that. You've laid out all of the pieces. You've solved the puzzle. And this truly is what Stardom has been building towards. It seemed nonsensical, but when you frame it into the ultimate climax of, as you put it, final boss killer Kashima, FBKK. I can't deny this. I've been convinced.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, what can you say? You know, almost every big player loses to Saki Kashima at least once. It happens all the time. You can't escape it. You know, she has the instant kill finisher, the strongest finisher, most powerful finisher in the world, the Kishi Kaisei. You know, she always revives from the brink of death, doesn't matter how much you kill her, you know. And lately she's been definitely putting on more of a comedy role to trick everyone, because clearly she knows how to fight. She clearly been trained hard with Shuri, you know, so she knows what to do. So she has to throw you off, make you think like she's all scared and a coward. Or in reality, she's gonna catch everyone and just get them. So you know, she could very well go undefeated. You just watch out. If she doesn't, you know, it's because she was probably hungry, or you know, she wanted to like play some rhythm games. She was a little tired. Maybe she didn't do some stretching in the morning. It happens, you know. When you're that good, sometimes you forget to do the basics. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if she does, but probably not though, because you know she's kind of vibing right now. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna look at just a couple other things. I'm kind of scanning around for some more questions just to answer a few more. We've got Costa the Cray Greek.
Jeez.
Asking, besides Mina, who do you think makes the jump to the States this year? The jump. Well, it depends how much of a jump Mina's making, because she might make a long range jump that she can't return from for some time.
It still might just be like an excursion jump too. We have no idea.
It could be. It could be.
It's hard to say, actually.
So, yeah, who would AEW be really looking at? That's kind of interesting. No one immediately is coming to mind.
Well, not in Stardom, but in Stardom, I don't know. I don't know in Stardom for AEW. It's hard. I mean,
I think they should, and not necessarily like to go to AEW, but to at least visit the States and do a show or two. I'd like to see Natsupoi show up, because I think she'd win over so many people. And
yeah,
I don't want her, like you said, I don't want her to get just completely squashed and just kind of being around in somebody's roster. But it would be nice for her to visit, and she puts on amazing matches, and it's got so much personality. Her sort of catchphrases are really easy to understand and get behind. So I'll go with her.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, because they have. I look at their women's division, and they got Hikaru Shida, they got Emi Sakura. You know, of course they got. I mean, Riho's injured, but they also got like even Athena in Ring of Honor, Billy Starks. You have these people who especially Billy, who's wrestled Joshi's before, you know, and stuff like that. You have these people who've done these work before, who can have these amazing matches, and they just don't have them, and that's what's sad about it. I would love to see Emi Sakura versus any one on that roster. I would love to see Hikaru Shida versus anyone on that roster. I would love Athena versus anyone on that roster. So yeah, Billy Starks and anyone on that roster. So it doesn't really. That's hard. I don't know, because I don't want anyone to really stay in the States at the same time, just selfishly at the same time. So, and plus their women's division is huge, so it's just, I don't know. Plus, you have Mercedes money there, and you know, I thought, man, that's the perfect opponent to bring people in from Stardom to wrestle her if she wanted that. But, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
All right. Well, I found another question here. Does Momo, that being Momo Watanabe, turn face by year's end?
You know
so
what?
That's in the next 6 months, basically by Dream Queendom.
Probably not. But the way, you know what? At the
speed they're going,
at the speed they're going, honestly, she
already has. Have you checked social media lately?
Right?
We can't be sure. Yeah, I think it's a little soon. So let's see. We've got GP, then we've got the Goddess Tag League, and she may still be Goddess Champion at that point. I don't think they're going to take the belts off of her. Well, Goddess Champions have been this way and that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if they want Hate to be this significant, the belts they have, at least most of them, they got to keep for a little while.
Yeah.
So I don't see her turning in the next 6 months. I do kind of get a sense that maybe it will happen. It's just so hard to even predict anything. Once I start thinking about it, I'm like, well, they've done all this other stuff. They
would go, and it's like, and units these days are being their own thing. Queen's Quest is probably just gone, and so is Oedo Tai being rebranded. So it's like, where would she go? Honestly, she would have to like start a new unit, and which is my whole which my whole problem with units to begin with, is that just because someone's alone, like they have to be part of a unit. Like when Suzu Suzuki was just a lone wolf for a long time, everyone was like, well, what units you can be a part of? What units you can be a part of? Like, do they need a unit? Do they need units anymore? I don't know. It's just one of those things where I understand the legacy behind it. I understand what it does for benefits wise for all the members to learn from and stuff. So, and it gives you an identity to work with that aesthetic, like Cosmic Angels or these idol like dancing creatures, and you have the evil hate group. So there's this aesthetic that they get to work with for character wise. So I do get the units and why it's there. So it's probably a lot more positives than negatives. I'm just kind of just talking, but yeah, I don't know. I want her to, because I want to see Momo do better things, but I don't think she will. I don't think she will.
Yeah, I don't think I told you. I really enjoyed your recent Momo video, which
My
really
coke
highlighted. Yeah, it was really well done.
Thank
Brought
you.
up some good points, and a lot of people agree with you about just the latent potential that she has to do a lot of other things than what she's been doing. She's kind of been in this for 2.5 years or so, this sort of villain role, and she's done a lot. But
it's been like
she's
5 years since she won the white belt. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's longer than some people have been wrestling in Stardom, which is crazy. But we'll start to wind things down just to kind of respond to your most recent thing. I think I'm much more kind of pro faction. I understand that some people find it to be a bit like boxed in and a little stale, but I think what actually is the failing sometimes is more the execution than the concept. I think there are tons of potential for storytelling within this idea of these teams that have an ethic to them, or that have a symbolic unifying force that keeps them together, or pushes them apart, or puts them in opposition with someone else. I just think it's not always tapped into as well as it could be. And maybe we'll see with, Neo Genesis, and with Hate, and with presumably the fall of Queen's Quest and the fall of Oedo Tai. Maybe we are seeing some of that execution not fully hitting the mark, but we'll give it some time and figure it out. But as far as the GP, I think there's a lot to look forward to with it. We've tried to cover as much as we could in terms of context, what has gotten us to this point, and maybe where it's going. So thank you very, very, very much for joining in on this chat. Can you please just let some people know where they can find? Who are you, by the way? You just jumped into the stream. No one knows who you are.
Right.
Maybe let some people know.
Yeah. So I'm Meerkat Ultra. Let me see if I can do the Meerkat voice, as this. It's hard when I'm looking at myself. So hi, I'm Meerkat Ultra. I do YouTube videos. I can't do it like when I'm staring at myself. The voice, it's so interesting. I do YouTube, like Joshi, mostly Joshi, but now I've been branching out into just doing general wrestling, and also like the occasional music thing that I like to do, and I like to just make funny, like meme absurdist videos on wrestling that sort of highlight my philosophy of wrestling, which I think it's the most absurd form of entertainment that's out there, but it's also some of the most best performed performance art out there at the same time. It's inherently ridiculous and inherently dramatic all at once, and I love it a lot, and I like to highlight that either through extreme stupidity, which is like the vast majority of my content, just extreme stupidity, or occasional deep dives into like my TJPW videos have been a lot of my favorite videos lately, and because I just dive deep into it and try to find a good narrative from a career standpoint, and those are so much fun to do when I do something that has a more serious tone into it a little bit, and that can be fun too. But also I do a lot of just fun, dumb things, and people seem to like it. I don't know. People like it, I guess. But you can find that, I guess, in the little thingy there, I suppose. Yeah,
absolutely. And you've really made a lot of very unique pieces, a lot of very entertaining pieces. You made me laugh multiple times, and you made me think about Stardom in a lot of more abstract or deeper ways, which I super appreciate. I think a lot of the time Stardom has so much more to offer than we sometimes talk about. We talk about a lot of the surface level things, but I really like your perspective on it. You come from this artist's perspective, this creative person's perspective, and you imbue all of your work with so much creativity without getting too serious or sappy. Like, there's literally no one in our sphere of content creation that can do what you're doing. You're utterly unique voice. You've got talents that, at least with editing and all of the things you put together, just one of a kind. So I'm really glad to just be able to talk to you and stuff and get some bits of wisdom here and there over time. But so as we wrap up, you guys are on String Six Splash, the channel. Please stick around and check out some more of the stuff that is here. I do a series called Red Belt Radio, so you can always just search for that on YouTube if you ever need to find some content covering Stardom. Both of us, I'm sure, are going to be talking about the recent happenings and giving our perspective. So tune into both of us in the future to hear what we have to say about these things. But we'll wrap up the GP stream here. Thank you so much, Meerkat. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone who showed up, and anyone else who's watching later. Peace. Bye.
Bye, guys.